Hello everybody, I'm Conquering History Games and welcome to a new campaign on the channel. Today I'm going to be playing a beta version of Equestria at War. This is Equestria at War 2 Eagles version 1.9, generously provided to me by the developers over at Equestria at War. Thank you very much for that. And also, so at the same time that this goes up, there's probably going to be another part 1 going. I want to apologize that my face cam is in the corner and the cognac tip jar. I wasn't paying attention when I recorded that I hadn't quite realized that. That was my bad. That's probably really obnoxious, but I just frankly don't have the time to go back and re-record that right now. Anyway, so this is a separate campaign from the other one, obviously, where we're going to be playing as the other eagle. So this the main focus of this this version 1.9, the 2 Eagles, is that there are, well, you know, there's actually 4 countries with focus trees, but the main 3 here are Equestria, Wingbardy, and the county of Francistria. So, in the other campaign, I'm doing the Kingdom of Equestria, and in this one, we're going to be playing as the Kingdom of Wingbardy. Both of these countries had focus trees in the past, but they've been reworked. And so what I'm going to be doing in this one is we're going to be checking out the reworked Supremacist path. Now, I've taken a little bit of time to look at the tree, kind of sort of figure out, all right, what are the paths we can take here? What do we want to do? Now, just like with Equestria, where it's a country I played before, but it was like 3 years ago, I thought it'd be interesting to return to a country that I've played before, you know, years later. Now it's been reworked, and see what the differences are. So the first time that I played Wingbardy for the channel, I believe it was a live stream series where it was one of my incredibly rare world conquest campaigns. So I believe that I took over the entire world. But so I thought that we'd do something a little bit different here. Instead of going just full-blown conquest like that, we're gonna try a different path, check out the new mechanics and whatnot. So basically, we are going to do the Biccolini thing. We're gonna meet with him and come down here, and we're gonna try out this Kiazbikal Pact or something like that, where basically we are going to create an alliance, or attempt to create an alliance with Equestria, where there's apparently going to be some sort of mechanic where we have to figure out what we're going to do about this territory here, because in Francistria you'll see that there are foreign claims. Okay, it says right here the Republic of Terran has Transnistria as a core state, but I think there's supposed to be something here where Equestria can demand these areas, and we have to negotiate. And the idea is that we would form a pact together against the Griffonian Empire, which is going to become resurgent one way or the other. And yeah, we'll just formalize that pact and create a compromise and figure that out, and essentially create an alliance of Griffin nations here in the south meant to oppose the Griffonian Empire becoming resurgent and taking over at least the western half of the continent once again. So that's the goal, and we'll see how it works out. So there's going to be a cut here, so then we can go back to the welcome screen. Okay, we're back. So I exited and came back, and then I remembered, oh yeah, you could just come over here to help, and you can open the welcome screen, so I didn't actually have to do that. But more welcome screens. Okay, Kingdom of Wingbardy. You guys know how it is with Conquering History Games. First episode, lots of reading. The Kingdom of Wingbardy, but also this is important for those of you who don't know the lore for Wingbardy. Incidentally, I'm sure it'll continue to be a good first-time playing country, but Wingbardy is typically the one I recommend for a first-time player in Equestria at War, because it's not as if you need to know the lore of My Little Pony, because this is an original concept country. The whole continent, practically, of Griffonia is original concept. All right, let's move on. The Kingdom of Wingbardy rose from the ashes of Carinthia, one of the successors of ancient Arentiga. Don't get too caught up on this guy's guy. The kingdom was established by Wingobard tribes, which invaded from the north and seized the western half of Carinthia, while Falcorians took the east. There's the Falcorians there. Bitter rivalry between the two kingdoms soon arose, and fighting between the two seemed to never end. Eventually it did stop, but only in 705 ALB, when Emperor Grover I came and subjugated them both. For centuries, Wingbardy was the crown jewel of the Griffonian Empire. This is the really important stuff. Thanks to extensive overseas trade and imperial protection, it soon became one of the most prosperous nations on Griffonia, always being the envy of the north. The ruling Talnuil dynasty did everything it could to maintain Wingbardy's autonomy, even as the empire tried to integrate the kingdom. This came to a head in 972 ALB, we're in 1007 now, when King Gumberto died under suspicious circumstances while attending a party in Griffinheim. His son, the newly crowned King Garibald Talnuil III, demanded that the lords of Griffinheim and the Imperial Heartlands launch a full investigation into the incident, but his demands fell on deaf ears. In protest, Wingbardy officially seceded from the Empire, taking its former allies of Talus, Francistria, and, where's the other one? Oh yeah, right here. Arantiga with it. The Empire, due to the rule of the Regency Council and risking instability, was powerless to protest as more and more nations followed in Wingbardy's example. Wingbardy avoided any revolutionary turmoil thanks to their parliamentary system already established in 967. Weakened by the collapse of the Griffonian economy in a long bloody war with Falkor, the nation nevertheless fell into crisis. Government after government came to power with the goal of restoring Wingbardy to its former glory, but each government collapsed under the strain and internal strife. Desperate for a solution, the Griffins of Wingbardy turned to more drastic solutions. The Partido Nacional Fascista, aka the National Fascist Party, led by Giero Biccolini, has swelled in numbers, especially among the disillusioned veterans of the Falkor War. Biccolini has called for a march on Carthen, that's the capital, to seize power from the government to begin rebuilding the nation. Meanwhile, the Partido Comunista Wingbarda, Communist Party, led by Antonio Proletarino, has vowed to stop any such action. With the threat of civil war rising, the government has remained silent on the issue for now, but what they choose in the coming weeks will seal the fate of the kingdom. Whoever takes charge of the government, their priority should be to solve the nation's economic hardships. The Great Famine has decimated the already suffering nation. Unemployment is still rampant, and the once mighty industrial sector has fallen behind nations such as Equestria and New Maryland. These issues have also caused many of Wingbardy's best and brightest to leave the nation in search of fortune elsewhere. Finally, there is the issue of the Empire to the north and Prywin to the east, both of whom look upon the jewel of the Empire with envious eyes. And so here's the word about Southern Griffonia, just kind of going into that. I guess you can pause and read this, but we're the strongest nation around. But we do have instability that we have to deal with. Doesn't have the changelog notes because this is beta. And of course, because this is a beta, and even beyond that, it is a mod, if there are any bugs, we are going to be forgiving, because this is not for public release yet, so it's possible bugs have slipped through in the version they gave me. Although, frankly, I doubt it. Equestria War has always been the standard when it comes to mod development, at least in terms of like avoiding bugs, making things effective, and whatnot. So I think it's going to be just fine. Alright, let's take a look at our national spirits. We have quite a bit. Our current leader is the anti-fascist pacifist Galino Ventrigo. He was appointed prime minister after the collapse of the Gonimi government. His outspokenness against Biccolini's fascist movement has led to many hoping for a quick crackdown of the Black Wings. Garibaldi Taluno III, our soldier king, increases political power gain, our recovery rate, and stability. Known as the Soldier King due to his leadership during the Falkor War, he's well respected and beloved by the Griffins. His father was murdered in the Imperial Palace while attending a party for the young Grover V. The newly crowned Garibaldi demanded justice, but none was given. He declared Wingbardy independent. The first few years were prosperous for Wingbardy, but a border war dispute with Falkor in 985 led to 4 long and bloody years of conflict that scarred Wingbardy to this day. King Garibaldi was often known to visit the front line and had significant support among his troops. However, the situation has grown worse. Failed government after failed government, along with a crippled economy, has led to many Wingbardians demanding that he step in and find a way to resolve their situation. With the rise of fascism and communism, it became clear that only he could decide Wingbardy's future. He sees his son Gumberto as a disappointment and secretly fears for the future of the monarchy unless his son can better himself. In the king's free time, he's an avid stamp collector. His collection of postal stamps is the largest in the world. Political deadlock. This national spirit will only be removed if a party or coalition rules with a majority of seats in the Chamber of Deputies. I'm guessing that's something over here. Awesome. Awesome. Love to see it. Okay, fantastic. We'll come back to this later. So Hertz stability, weekly stability, political power cost, etc. Real bad. Real bad. With the collapsing economy and the growing distrust of successive failed governments, the Wingbardian political system is in tatters, and few see how it could survive without reform or revolution. We also have an economic crisis going on because there's rampant unemployment. People are flocking to the communists and fascists, enticed by their promise of economic recovery and reform. Hurts construction speed, consumer good factories, output. It's just awfulness everywhere. We've got stilted education because our schools and universities are chronically underfunded since the collapse of the empire. We have an outdated army. Our military is still rooted in the tactics that won us the city of Falcor, and it's been reluctant to innovate using new modern methods. So more bad stuff, and we have a powerful mafia which hurts consumer good factories and stability. So this is terrible, just awful. One of the worst setups at the beginning I've ever seen. That's okay. We're gonna get out of it. And we're gonna do that. Let's see. I think we have to meet with Biccolini first. Let's see. Right here. Yeah, we have to do that first. Reform the Careth protocols, expanding the pact and whatnot. Yeah, so again, the goal is to form the pact with Aquelia. So the two eagles will be friends instead of enemies. And, yeah, that's the goal for right now. So the columns of Black Wings are nearly at the gates of Carthan. It seems impossible to stop him without escalation. The Prime Minister has panicked and argued for martial law to restore order, but the King is hesitating. Instead of causing a clash in the capital, he could invite the fascist leader to the palace and work out a deal to ensure stability, which is exactly what we're going to do. Okay, at least we start with 3 research slots, and wow, we actually have better than muzzleloader weapons. Small blessings, right? I think in the long term, we're going to want to go for tanks here. So let's go ahead and grab that to get started. Actually, no, we might not do that on second thought. Let me look at the potential research bonuses that we have available to us. Where's the army stuff? It's military economy, air. Okay, reduces the penalties of outdated army, division reformation. So we got artillery supremacy here, modern warfare. Oh, man, I don't think we get any bonuses to tanks. Oh, here we go, tank design. So we get 2 bonuses for armor technology. Okay, we could make that happen. You see, this might be an example of a bug. It says here, land doctrine research speed minus 50%, but I think that's supposed to be a plus 50%. So we might not get any land doctrine research done here if that is mistaken. Hopefully it's not. But, again, this is beta. We'll find out. Okay, so we're trying to build fighters. We got support equipment, bolt-action rifles. Let's get something going over here with tanks just to start the production efficiency cap growing. We want artillery. We're going to want motorized equipment for tank divisions later. And, yeah, let's get all this stuff above the Navy. The Navy! Okay. There we go. Good. Okay, and then if we're going to do... Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can end up making more planes than the people around us. Okay, early fighters. We have 2 for some reason. Do I want to do anti-air for the piercing? Man, I never use anti-tank anymore. Almost never. Anti-air just feels so much better. Obviously, the piercing's not as good, but it's pretty damn adequate, I would say. Yeah, we'll do anti-air. Okay, next up. Can't go wrong. Infrastructure in the capital. It's pretty standard from me. Okay, so Biccolini's march. They're marching to seize power. It's a dangerous and wild beast. Could destabilize the nation and destroy our parliamentary democracy. So, if this isn't completed, we're going to lose stability, we're going to lose political power, and they win anyway. So, okay. What else? So the current makeup of deputies is we've got Partido Comunista Wingbardo here and here. Why is it on there twice? I wonder. Strange. Oh, it's because this is the Socialist Party and the Communist Party. I didn't read it, my bad. Yeah, so we've got the Socialist Party and the Communist Party, which is much less popular. Then you've got like the Popular Party, the Fascist Party, the Liberal Party, the Democratic... Yeah, this... Oh, man. Don't you just love it when nations have so many political parties that you start to get a little blurry on what's what? So, like, there is the Liberal Democratic Party, and there's also the Liberal Wingbardy Party. So I think Japan's like that too, because you have the Liberal Democrats, but there's also the Liberals and also the Democrats. So, okay, so big multi-party system. Okay. Foreign policy is pretty standard. Okay, Wingbardian mafia. So this must have to do with the consumer goods and stability loss. The Wingbardian Mafia have long plagued the nation. However, in recent years, they've become an epidemic infecting all of Wingbardy. For many, they offer a stable alternative to the corrupt, inefficient governments that plagued Wingbardy after the Falkor War, but their stability comes at the cost of violence and extortion. Many now wish to see the end of these criminal gangs, but it will be a difficult task to achieve. So, as we start to tackle the Mafia, they'll get progressively weaker. And we have different paths we can go down depending on what our political party is. So, for example, here, if we are harmonious, we strengthen anti-mafia training. And then eventually we could just end the Mafia. We got to also reform the justice system. But yeah, it's different things for different stuff. So if we're supremacist and we've completed... control the local governments, we can fix that up. So where's that? Control the... Yeah, over here. So relatively soon, but we need to have a majority of seats in the Chamber of Deputies. So even if we go fascist, we have the parliamentary system which we have to work within. All right, at least for now, right? Okay, we'll figure that out. Let's get ourselves our leaders here. Wow, that's a very different style portrait. Grifoli Grazzini. Offensive doctrine, maybe. Oh, yeah, I don't like these old guard guys. And there's Prince Gumberto, the son. Let's go with Grifol Graziani. Alright, and then over here we've got our tanks, and there's our Griffin Knights. The rest of these seem to be mostly standard infantry. Okay, so for the infantry, what do we got here? Giovanni Gis, Gino Grifalo. Yeah, we got an armor officer here, that's good. Griff Bastio, he's an inflexible strategist. We might promote him later. Doesn't look like we got any infantry leaders. No, there's one here. Galfredo Guzion. So he's very bottom of the totem pole, but he could be something big later because of his experience factor. Might be a good idea. Yeah, let's grab him for now. And we've also got Giovanni Gis. Yeah, very good. War hero. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Need to trade for a little bit of chromium. Wait, what for? Oh, that's for the stupid-ass Navy, I think. Yeah. Let's get rid of this stuff. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll do it. No, we still are short on chromium. Just get rid of all of it then. Just make some convoys. I don't think we're going to really need the Navy. You guys know me, I don't like to deal with the Navy. Okay. So, nice, we can get a mobile warfare expert later, as long as we have Giovanni Gis, which I'm sure we will hold on to. We also have Godolfo Grazzini. Okay, so we're definitely going mobile warfare or grand battle plan doctrine. Both are real good. Real good. Alright, let's get started. So, oh yeah, let's elaborate a little bit. So the idea is to go down this path here, but I do not believe that these are necessarily, mutually exclusive with a lot of this stuff here where we secure the other ones, so we basically can get annex war goals against the people in our faction. Yeah, and I think we could then kick them as needed or whatever. And who knows what paths they're going to go down. We could demand, New Maryland, figure out Sycamon, and all sorts of things like that. So, anyway, let's get moving. Let's unpause. 20 minutes into the game. Hey, at least we unpaused in the first episode. Right, everybody? We're doing good. Oh, let's create an agency here. The Sim. Let's call this the Beak. There we go. Get started there. And so for the decisions, lobbying efforts, it's if we've already done something, we can only win over a total of 397 deputies to support us. So whenever I do this, between 10 and 20 deputies will start to support the government. Okay, so let's wait until I'm actually the government I want to be, until I become supremacist, and then we'll go from there. Of course, it'll be really interesting to see what happens to the rest of the world. Ideally, New Maryland is going to do its own thing and not strengthen the ties. We want them to partition. And then they've got a ton of different potential paths that they can go down. I don't know if they could actually join a faction with us, but I don't really care. Deal with the Duce. Oh, yeah, if they come down here, they can join our pact if they go fascist. Let's not hope for that, though. I'd rather just eat them. Okay. Looking good. Hollywood. Now, first things first. Oh, we don't have enough civilian factories to form a department. Okay, fine. Let's start working on some different things. And, of course, we'll be able to become a spy master because we're the head of the faction, so that's very useful. Okay. Always fun to see what's going to happen in an Equestria war game. Friendship games. Ba-da-ba. Alright, we can start to tackle the Mafia now. How long does each of these focuses take? 60 days? Let's wait for right now and save up the political power pretty much for everything until we've actually switched over. Do we possibly have a somebody who can boost our political power? Alright, wow, a few things happen in a row. Biccolini becomes prime minister after a week of backroom meetings between the king and Biccolini. Replacing the previous Gacta government, Biccolini has formed a new cabinet, surprising most with the inclusion of socialist ministers, and has promised a swift end to the political deadlock. Perhaps the self-fashioned Duce may bring about order. Fascism's the way forward. So, when Guido Biccolini declared that his Black Wings would march on Carthan unless he were installed as prime minister, he was in effect making a calculated gamble. Assuming that the relationship between the king and Prime Minister Ventriglio's government was deteriorating, and by adding a little pressure to the mix, he could sever it completely. This proved to be an astute observation. The king's unwillingness to declare martial law has led to the resignation of Prime Minister Ventriglio and the collapse of the PLW's government. The king was unwilling to work with the communists. The PLW was out of power for the foreseeable future. This state of affairs left Biccolini and his PNF as the last griffin standing. A triumphant Biccolini entered the royal palace this morning, invited by the king to form a new government. However, the participants in his march looked somewhat embarrassed to have their thunder stolen from them. While nothing is set in stone yet, it seems unlikely that anything will derail Biccolini's ascent to power at the last moment. Right. Let's hope this goes smoothly. So now, we can legitimize the Black Wings. Helps with supremacy support. That's cool, I guess. We are officially supremacist as a nation now. Cool little logo here, by the way. Originating in Wingbardy, fascism typically venerates devotion to the state and uniting the people under a strong leader. It is fiercely nationalistic, militaristic, and expansionistic. Economically, it usually favors corporatism and state interventionism. By the way, we will read Twilight's Guide here in the next episode of Corinthian. Okay, so we could do education reform. That's a good way to get some quick research speed. Start recovering the economy. Eventually go down to productivism. What have we got here? We could propose a treaty with Stalingrad. That's interesting. Both our countries eye Equestria with suspicion, so our interests may align. Okay. And then we can meet with the Red Army, so we get a joint military exercise where we can both get bonuses with one another. Ah, so that's the purpose of that. I think what we want to do here is, let's see, legitimize over here. Considerable law. If the new law is passed, in the next election, the party with the majority of the votes will get a 2/3 majority in the Chamber of Deputies. When the vote is selected, a vote will happen on the law. If we have over 267 deputies supporting the government, the vote will pass. With at least 268 deputies supporting the government, the vote will fail. If it passes, an election will be held a month after the focus is completed. Okay, so essentially, this is how we get rid of the political deadlock, which is crippling us right now. But we've got to be sure we can actually get it done, and we've only got half of what we need at the moment. So, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. Let's start appealing to the prelate for support. We need to start winning people over. Yeah. Because I think, the G, I'm pretty sure, stands for government. So we've got the Partido Nacional Fascista with us. So is the National Association of Wingbardy and the Combattenti Party. Yeah, so those three are with us. Not much else. All right. How about we, in the meantime, while we work on that, start on the education reform? Okay. This is going to be something. Whoa! Almost clicked something there. Crisis in the PLW. The Partido Liberal Wingbardo have voted to replace him with their old leader, Giovanni Giolitti. He's been a predominant respected voice. He's been prime minister 5 times. Giolitti has approached Biccolini for talks of forming a coalition government, offering the full support of the PLW. This might just be a move to keep some semblance of power for the PLW, but regardless, having their support will help us greatly in pushing through our reforms in a timely manner. We can accept the support, and the PLW will join us in a coalition government, boosting our seats to 174. It's tempting. Of course, we might need to work. They might get pissed at us doing some stuff later, but that's going to basically bring 43 votes in. Let's accept the support for now. We'll mess with them more later. Okay, the prelate support. The prelate was very important. Griffin, he's a spiritual leader to thousands of Wingbardians. Biccolini was approaching him in hopes of getting crucial support. Unfortunately, Biccolini would not be able to use many of his normal tactics here. The prelate was a faithful and holy Griffin, and trying to intimidate or bribe him would only end in disaster. Some said that the gods gave him the ability to see through lies as well. So the only thing he could do was speak with him, be honest about his intentions, and hope they would give him their blessing. It seems that the gods were on our side today, though, as the prelate blessed Biccolini inside the holy temple of Carthin, and later that day they made a public statement lending his support to our cause. It immediately had the effect we intended, as Griffins across all layers of society reconsidered their stance on the PNF, giving us some much-needed votes. A toast to our new friendship. So we're already up to 194. We still got like 100 to go, though. Still, good start. So what we might do, the PDSW is offering their support. This is the Radical Social Democrats. They will give us the edge in the Chamber of Deputies. These radicals will get more change than they bargained for. So we're already at 203. It wasn't much, but it's a little something here. Okay, so you know what? Here's what we're going to do. After we're done with the education reform, I think we need to immediately swing back to legitimize the Black Wings, if for no other reason so that we could take the Gacerbo law ASAP when the time comes. That's pretty good. We're at a point where we only need, what is it we have to pass? 68? 268? Wait, no, it's not there. Yeah, let's call it 268. Let's say 270 to be safe. Alright, we can bribe conservative deputies. Let's see. Oh, this only costs consumer good factories. Love that. Yeah. Divisions in the PPW. It appears the support of the prelate was a greater success than we first thought. The PPW has long been a thorn in our side, so that must... Which one is that? PPW. However, with the prelate's backing, we have won over a substantial portion of their voter base to support us. I'm not sure which one that is. Oh, the Popular Party of Wingbardy. It's reported that Don Luigi Guzzero was severely distressed by the prelate's support for Biccolini. After a private meeting with the prelate, he resigned as head of the PPW. His successor is his right claw griffin, Giovanni de Gaspuinghi. While de Gaspuinghi opposes us just as much as Don Guzzero, he is now leading a party that is very much divided and will not pose a significant united threat against us. So, just as planned. So, oh no, that doesn't actually, I think, change the support, but there's a new Harmony leader now. Alright. Good. We're doing good so far. Alright, let's, I don't know, build some intel somewhere. Let's do it in Falcor. Okay. Let's get building more stuff also. Now then. Yeah, we definitely need to swing immediately over to the Black Wings. But we'll do that after this education, or in the next episode, and after this education reform is done. There we go. Okay, so that's a good start. We've already got Biccolini in charge. Didn't take much, but now we have to solidify his rule, before we start expanding all over the place. So please be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you'll always be notified whenever a new episode of the series comes out on the channel. And also be sure to go check out my Quellian campaign if you're interested in a different thing, because we're going to be going Democratic. We're going Harmonist up there. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. And thanks again to the Equestria War team for providing me with the beta. I appreciate that.